Streets in Gaza City are now in ruins after intensified strikes by the Israeli army. The airstrikes and shelling by tanks on the ground turned a number of buildings into rubble, with some residents reporting 24 hours of nonstop bombardments. The raids have amplified an already dire humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip, where men, women, and children are waiting in line for hours just to receive hot meals. NewsNation's Robert Sherman is live in Tel Aviv. Robert, how is the international community planning to respond?
Well, those calls have been loud and clear for weeks on end now at this point, Nichole, is that you've heard from so many world leaders sounding the alarm about the humanitarian situation in Gaza and not wanting the Israelis to conduct an operation in Rafah. But you're starting to see some of those pieces moving into play. The IDF calling 2 battalions from northern Israel down south for operations and work that will be taking place in Gaza. Recently, they'd been drilling up in northern Israel. So this is all part of the big plan here as they gear up for this pending operation, which, again, the Israelis say, despite all this international pressure, is going to be happening, they say, to preserve their own national security. One of the harshest critics that we've heard in recent weeks has been the United States, who says that they do not want to see an operation in Rafah because they believe that it will inevitably upend the situation for displaced Gazans in southern portions of the enclave. Now, that being said, we've heard from U.S. officials who have said the humanitarian situation is improving in some respects. They're seeing more trucks going into Gaza on a consistent basis. And perhaps even more importantly, they're seeing the distribution capabilities inside of the enclave improving. This is what we've been talking about for weeks. It's one thing to get a truck into Gaza. It's another thing to get it around the enclave and where it needs to go. Both of those fronts have been improving. That being said, U.S. officials said this.
We could not support a Rafah ground operation without an appropriate, credible, executable humanitarian plan, precisely because of the complications for delivery of assistance, and then on top of that, the consequences of displacement of the hundreds of thousands of Rafahans already multiply displaced. Where do they go? How will their needs be met? Shelter, medicine, water, sanitation. Rafah itself today poses significant challenges in all of these areas.
And then something else we're keeping an eye on here, Nichole. We've seen Hezbollah carrying out several strikes on northern Israel over the last couple of days, including during this Holy Week of Passover here. The IDF said that they hit 40 targets in Lebanon belonging to Hezbollah, and Hezbollah is still vowing to continue carrying out these attacks on Israeli positions. Nichole.
Robert Sherman live in Tel Aviv. Thank you.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.